Okay, it's time to begin Operation 005B. First off, we'll get... Oh no, we're not getting the treasure sensor, I thought we were. Gosh darn it.
Hero sense.
Oh, we can't even get hero time either. Oh.
Hero time.
Although saying that, I don't know that we have enough to get a platinum card. / wonderful card. I can't remember what it's called anymore. Generally, the best bet to go for is platinum or wonderful, and you've probably got it correct. Oh, excellent! We've got enough for that card, which means that we can get hero time, which I am very, very, very grateful for, because that thing is so useful. I mean, it is basically witch time from Bayonetta, and as I made great mention of, I don't feel I can do without it anymore.
Hero time.
Like all the other things, you kind of neither here nor there, but hero time I need. So with all that faffing about out of the way, let's put hero time into our Shirogane drive and head into the second bit of Operation 005, which is where the slightly more puzzle aspect, well, it's not really puzzle aspect, but kind of the temple aspect comes into a little bit more focus. And also, fair warning, I am going to be missing a wonderful one towards the start of this level. Which is really annoying, but you can't exactly see him, so he's very easy to miss. So, upon entering, you will notice this thing, and literally, waterfall, you can just run straight past it, through this door, and you have some goodies. So you have some people that you can pick up, which you were going to want to do. But there's something else here as well. Even if I am going to take my time getting to it, at least I think there's something up front here. Basically, I think if you draw a Wonderliner down past the edge there, you can reach it, and there's stuff there. I think I'm going to get there now because I just realised my mistake. You can also see that there's all those streams of... I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I am certifiably nuts. But there is this head here, and there is a wonderful one in here that I am actually going to miss. I think. I'm pretty sure this is the wonderful one that I miss, and I don't know how I missed him, because he was so evidently in here, and like you can see him. Barely, but you can see him. Oh dear, that's embarrassing. At least you know where he is. Because I can't... Oh dear, that's very, very embarrassing. Anyway, the first mission of Operation 005B is slightly frustrating, because you are in one of these areas, and at first, kind of, seeing the outside may not kind of tell you much about what's going to happen, but it's more to do with the end of the mission. First off, we have these really, really irritating flame things. I mean, what you're meant to do is stand a decent distance away, unite bomb them, and then kind of run through the gap. But the bomb wears off rather too fast for my liking. Thankfully, once you've gotten past them, the rest of the mission is really ridiculously easy. Because all you need to do is whip out that Unite Sword. Not quite like that, but like that. Stab these pillars and turn. There is a bit of a weird waiting time in getting them to kind of get in and start turning. But yeah, you can probably tell we need to make use of that stream of water. Because apparently doing this with things completely gets rid of all lava that was previously there. And pouring water on a spurt of lava like this very quickly cools it down and solidifies it. And also opens a door, apparently. Now, rather nicely, there are a bunch of files and maybe a figure or so in these circle areas. It's in every single one, so that they were very nice about it. Don't need to worry at all. As long as you know they're there, you don't even need the treasure sensor. Now, there is a hero heart in this location as well, and I'm about to be a bit of an idiot. And I also remember this is the same mistake that I made when I first played the game. It's just like, I can't get up. The water's kind of pushing me down, and how do I get rid of the water? And the answer to that is very simple, and I'm going to realise this shortly. It's very simple how you get rid of the water. You get rid of it exactly the same way as you put it there. You go and find the pillar that associates with the pipe thing that is drawing the water to you, and then you turn it and stop the water flowing, which means that you can then get up the wall, because the hero heart fragment is in that massive boulder just there. And obviously we want those hero heart fragments because they are useful. I believe you can just kind of Wonderliner up these, but I like using Unite Claw. It's just more fun, you know? Also, kind of Wonder White and Unite Claw users are generally a lot quicker than most of the other wonderful ones, so you move quicker. And there is the hero heart fragment that took us longer than really was necessary, but either way. Having done that, we can successfully move on, even though we did really embarrassingly miss that wonderful one. Believe it's something like Wonder Prisoner, but I'm not 100% certain on that anymore. I'm just kind of filled with embarrassment that you could physically see him, and I was just being a complete and utter idiot. Oh well. Operations 5 is kind of the point of the game where I'm kind of just like, these levels are too long, and I fail miserably. But we have another new enemy. This is the Suri Dura, which is basically a Dura, except it has I want to call it a shuriken, but it's I think whirlwind shuriken is probably accurate, but I feel I'm being slightly wrong with that name, but oh well, I'm going to go with it. They're pretty much exactly the same as normal Duras to defeat, so you really shouldn't have a problem. So the only thing is that maybe they have one or two moves which can hurt a little bit more because, or hit you more likely because, just because of how they are, really. Because it sends kind of it away from itself, like boomerang throws things and shurikens in general. And sometimes you can't quite see it coming. Oh, and I've just realised we're going to get one of two rather stupid missions shortly. But that's hero time in action. It is basically witch time, and I love it for that. I would not be without it for the world. I would, however, like to be without these Hagones, but they will be dead soon enough, because we will destroy them. Now, having kind of covered the majority of the game in terms of recording by this point, because even as I'm recording commentary, I'm still recording footage, because this game is so blooming huge. But the two Unite Morphs that tend to get the least use from me, well, that I tend to use the least, are Claw and Gun. Gun especially so. And I think it's just because Gun is so weak when fighting. Like, it is the single weakest weapon in the game because it's so slow to do anything, and when it does do stuff, it doesn't do a lot. But then it does up the combo, so it is useful in that sense. But most of the wonderful ones that I have towards the end that don't have as high a level, it's Claw and Gun. Although saying that, I do think I do tend to use Claw quite frequently. I think there's just, well, for starters, there's a lot of people Unite. Well, there's a lot of wonderful ones that use Unite Claw, just as there are quite a few that use Unite Gun, and there are more than, I'd say, majority of the other Unite Morphs. But even then, I tend to favour Unite Sword and Unite Hand. Unite Hand, obviously so, because it's a very nice and consistent damage dealer. Also, it is like one of the simpler shapes. But here is this really annoying mission. So, this path, as you can probably guess, will collapse if you don't kind of balance it out every now and again. Also, if you end up having too much weight on one end for too long. Thankfully, this doesn't result in a game over, as you are about to see. It just means that you're going to be damaged, and that is never fun. I will also say I'm so grateful that they sustain, or keep the damage that they receive, because otherwise this fight would be ridiculous. I hate Gah-Goojin, I believe they are. I hope I'm getting that right. I hate them at the best of times, but this is one step above that. Now, I don't think I've actually mentioned this. I mean, I might have done. There's so much that I might have mentioned that I don't know whether I've mentioned, and just roll with it. But the Unite gun going to its kind of current biggest form. I say current because it can go bigger. It looks very much like a Super Scope, which is pretty awesome. Nice little Nintendo reference in the Unite gun. And I mean, to be honest, I'm not quite sure what Nintendo character Unite gun would be. I mean, I guess it might be like Star Fox or something. Because, like, I mean, obviously you can very easily fit hand and sword to Mario and Zelda, but the gun, it's a bit more difficult because not that many Nintendo characters use guns, but also those that do aren't necessarily most well known for their use of guns. I mean, it could also be Samus, but then that doesn't quite make sense because Samus is basically Nintendo's kind of only female character, well, female lead of a franchise. So you would think that her character would probably be Pink with the Unite Whip. And that does make sense in a way because of the whip, the gun whip that's in like Brawl. Either way, and also hammers was probably Kirby, I would suspect, because that fits quite nicely. Either that or King Dedede, but mostly Kirby. Not sure who the hell would be Bomb or Claw though. So, well, Claw, potentially Pokemon of some description, maybe. And then Lord only knows with the Bomb. So I will say, if anything, the weapons here correspond a lot more closely to the weapons of Bayonetta, as does a lot of this game. I mean, pretty much, if ever I was going to tell anybody the closest thing that this game compares to, it would be Bayonetta, because it's very similar from the way it grades operations, the game layout, even kind of elements of the game design are very much Bayonetta. And it follows through in the weapons, because we've got the guns, very common. You've got the whip, which is like called Shadra. You've got the sword, which is Sharaba. You don't have a hammer, but you do have claws in Durga.
In those ruins?
Oh look,
Yes.
Gah-Goojin's back. Joy.
The location of the super reactor.
So what do we do? Fly out of here?
We would be swatted into the lava like so many flies.
But we can't just give Geathjerk free reign over the place. There must be another way.
What is it with you scaredy cats? Whatever happened to full speed ahead?
That's what I've been saying all Deuce?
Luke,
Look! What are you doing here? I told you to hide and stay put!
Luca, recklessness is never bravery.
Dude, that's not the point. Pink, what is he doing here?
Huh? He?
Bet your eyes at me. Him! Right there, the ankle biter. What's he doing here?
Well, what did you expect me to do? We could not leave him all alone.
What is he, a kitten who's gonna miss the litter box? Take him back.
And how do you expect me to do that? Not a kid.
Pink, why would you disobey a direct order?
I wanted to ask you about it, but I did not get the chance. Just let me keep him, okay? I promise to take care of him.
We don't have much choice now. He's 100% your responsibility. Keep him out of trouble.
Roger.
Great, what are we running here, a daycare? You're cutting the kid a lot of slack just because he was one of yours,
To the
Red.
team! Unite Glider!
So we are going in after all?
One of his? What?
Hello? Not finished here. You know, Red, there's something I've been meaning to tell you for the
A
longest...
moment, please. I believe the big fellow is looking our way.
A little bit preemptive there, Green, but you are correct. And now we get to another one of these segments, although this time it's actually a mission. Basically, don't get hit. Well, don't fall into the lava. Also, there is a wonderful one in here. I believe he's... Is he in that batch? I might have... I don't think I missed him. Or I could just be being a silly fool again. Basically, get away from the lava, because it's a bad thing to get hit by it. And now we have this mission, which I'm also not a fan of, because it's really annoying to do sometimes. So basically what you need to do is to stand on these platforms for enough time that they will send up spikes and get Gah-Goojin to land on them. However, it's easier said than done because the timing is really weird. So basically the best way that I found to do it was to go 1, 2, 3 and then so wait until he was about there, then 1, 2, 3, and then Unite Drill out of there. I do a very poor job of demonstrating it here, but I found that does tend to work, that timing of going 1, 2, 3, stab. But it is just getting it so that he falls on it. Yeah, if anything, this entire operation is just me failing miserably. I promise I'm going to kind of improve in later operations. Because, or at least going to pull out some spectacular things in later operations. Because some of this is... It's laughable. I mean, still, it's probably arguably one of the more competent Wonderful 101 things online, which is rather depressing. Because I remember kind of when the game first came out in Europe, because it came out so much earlier in Europe, there were maybe 1 or 2 people who basically did playthroughs and walkthroughs, but they were generally of a rather poor quality because they were completely blind, so nobody knew what they were doing. And I remember, because I went on, like, I think it was the NeoGAF board, or it might have been Game FAQs or whatever, the board on there, and basically a lot of people were really frustrated at how bad some of the playthroughs and walkthroughs were. I'm not saying mine's truly wonderful, but I would like to think that it's certainly going to be one of the more helpful ones to any of you who have decided to pick up the game, or want to get the game and want to kind of see what to do, because it's not helpful or kind of makes you want to get the game if you're watching someone who has no idea what they're doing. Although, from how this operation itself is going, I clearly don't know much myself. But either way, after more standing around, I tend to do that a lot now, it's time to just move on. You can see that we have a big glowy ball, and we've got an escort mission of sorts. I mean, the thing doesn't get damaged, but you are going to have to carry it throughout a section, which is slightly frustrating. And there are going to be spikes and lava. So, yes, look forward to that, which is going to be in the next part, because We are basically right at the end now, and halfway through. But things are going to get quite exciting come the end of the next operation, because we're going to be heading into the boss. And it's one of the most unique bosses in the game. But first, let's take our orb with us.